Hello, hello, it's June Olson with Junebug Creations, independent Stampin' Up! Demonstrator coming to you live from Whitefish, Montana. And it was a cold Whitefish, Montana. I think we might be moving from the trailer back into the house now. It was down in the 20s last night and it was cold. And it's not so much that it was cold in bed, obviously, because body heat and everything. It was when you had to get out of bed that it was really stinking cold and you didn't want to. And if you went to the restroom and came back, the bed was cold and then you had to heat it up all over again. So that's a little too cold for me. So probably before the end of the week, yeah, I think we're going to be moving into Kitar's room upstairs. Where it's a little bit warmer. So, all right, today is Monday. So happy Monday, everybody. I trust you have a marvelous Monday. And I've got Paper Pumpkin Playdate for you. And we're going to do a technique that you've seen me do. It's been a while. I tend to do it mainly in the fall. I'm not sure why. I need to see if I can break out of that habit and do this technique at other times of the year, but it tends to be kind of like using Cajun Craze at this time of the year. I do this technique, but let's check it out because we have a different image to work with this time. Instead of just fall leaves, we're going to use the autumn, whoops, there we go, the autumn tree. So let's go ahead and play with that. All right, here we go. So we have our Paper Pumpkin. It is a subscription. It is not one of the kits that's on sale. It is just the kit collection kits that are on sale today, tomorrow, and Wednesday. 3 days only, folks. Up to 30% off on kits. And I'll talk a little bit more about that later. And I'll have a post up with that information because I totally spaced it this weekend. I knew about it, but I forgot to tell you about it. So now I'm telling you about it. This one is a subscription kit. It comes to your mailbox each month. You can either prepay it or pay for it month to month. The cost is the same and the amazing kit is the same. Because it is all inclusive, like pretty much all of our kits, all you have to do is add a pair of scissors. That's the beauty of it all. When you first open it, it's going to be wrapped up in plastic, and then the plastic is going to be wrapped up in tissue paper, and they make it like a surprise gift. I love it. All right, in your very first kit, you're going to get a clear block that you can use for putting your photopolymer stamps on. Now, what I went ahead and did is I went ahead and glued 2 of my blocks to show you that if you get multiple kits, this is a little bit harder, and sometimes my fingers get into the ink when I use the big ink pads. If you use the Stampin' Spot, then of course it doesn't, because you're using the Stampin' Spot this way and tapping on the image. If you are using the big ink pads, then sometimes your fingers go into it with the skinny ones. So I wanted to show you this is what it looked like, and I just used our 3D, our Stampin' Seal Plus, which is more for 3D, and you can see it around the edge, but it's not going to deter from how you see the image. That's why I didn't put anything in the middle. I just did around the edge, and it works. Oh, you can see my light. There we go. You can see the mirror. All right, so you can see it. Maybe you can see it better this way. Trying to figure out. Here we go. Now you can see it. You can see it around the edge. So I just did around the outside edge, stuck them together so they're all smooth and even. And now I've got a nice big block that I can use, and I've got tons of these. So I might glue a few more together, all right? Because if you look, they are about the same width. Now they don't have the groove that our ergonomic ones do, but it still works and it still keeps your fingertips out of the ink. So we'll be using those today. Then we have our photopolymer stamps, and we have also the little paper showing you what the stamps say in case you have a hard time reading it. So wishing you the happiest of days, thankful, warm wishes, thinking of you, and then we have some images to go with it, which I absolutely love. And then we have our no-fail instructions. This is one of the best parts, I think, is because if you want to make the cards as designed, which is what I do the first week that I get it, the instructions are easy to follow. So there are 3 different designs, 3 of each. That gives you 9 cards with coordinating envelopes. This shows you all the ingredients and it lets you know the colors. Cajun Craze, Crumb Cake, Darling Duckling, Early Espresso, Pecan Pie, Timid Tiger, Metallic, Chocolate, Bronze. Those are those leaves. And I just realized that I was saying that typically for fall I use Crushed Curry, Real Red, Cajun Craze, Old Olive, and Early Espresso, but I might grab my Timid Tiger and Darling Duckling today and see what that looks like instead. Because I didn't, oh, pumpkin pie is another one I usually grab. So I think I'm going to grab those real quick and see how they look on our tree that we're going to do today. And then we have our dies. Now, sadly, these dies are already sold out. All right, these right here. The acorns, strawberry, the flower went with this one. This little flower, this leaf, and then hello. These were the ones. Now, these right here are the ones that you can get now for 4th quarter. So don't wait until they're sold out to want them, because I use them and I love them. And here they are right here. These 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 dies. This is the one that is sold out. This one is sold out, and this one. So all of this year so far have been sold out because they're that awesome. So make sure you grab your 4th quarter dies before they're gone. You have to be a Paper Pumpkin subscriber to be able to do that. It is only for Paper Pumpkin subscribers. So if you want to subscribe, you can go to junebugcreations.stampinup.net. And Stampin' is S-T-A-M-P-I-N. There's no G. It's not stamping. It's Stampin' Up. All right, and .net, or you can go to stampinup.com and choose me as your demonstrator and get started. So that's the beauty of the Paper Pumpkin, is it comes to your door. It has all, that's the beauty of it. It comes to your door and it's a surprise. You don't know what's going to be in it. You have an idea, you have an inclination, but you don't know for sure what's going to be in it. Then you have your ingredients page right here. And then you have your no-fail instructions telling you exactly. And look, they even give you a ruler just in case. That is wonderful. So the first cards originally designed were like this. And then there was, oh, they're all upside down. And then there was this one. And then we had this one. All right, and then I started doing some alternates. With this, I mix and match what was in there, and I embossed, you can see it better this side, I embossed the card front. All right, and then I just mix and match, and then I used some of the dies for the leaves. And for this one, I used the hello die, and then we just we embossed this. I used a little bit of Cajun Craze with a blending brush for the background, and then we just did use the pumpkins and the leaves from the kit. So super fun. And then last week I used all the dies, the leaves, well, not all, the leaves, the acorns, and the hello, and we used the ribbon from the kit and the card base. All right, and we distressed it a little bit with the Cajun Craze. All right, so today, let's jump in. I'm going to pull out a few things. Not ready to use those guys yet. We will next week for sure. All right, let's see. We're going to use this card base, and let's see. I think we're going to use either this one or the Thankful. Where's the Thankful? I know it's in here somewhere. Or not. We'll get the adhesives out. Here we go. We're going to use this Thankful. All right. So let's get to creating. So first off, we're going to use this tree. And it comes with the dies. So these are the two sets that coordinate with this kit. All right, so we're not going to use the Amber Autumn, and we're just going to use this tree. And I just realized I don't have the big block. I need the big block for this one. All right, so we're going to take this off. All right, it's got our cling on the back. And we have this. Will it fit? It will. All right, it will fit. So I'm not going to use the dies or anything like that. Today we're just going to stick with this. I might come back and use some of the ground coverings, but we'll see. Let's do this part first. All right, and we need our Cajun Craze and a dauber. All right, I happen to have purple ones because I bought these cases, all right, to hold them all. We do, if you're not going to go all out with all the different colors, we do sell the black ones, all right, but I went, I wouldn't have the colors in there. All right, so we're going to have to do new ones for the Timid Tiger. All right, so I like to go from light to dark. So we're going to start off with the Darling Duckling. Then we're going to use the Timid Tiger. Since those are the colors in this kit, I thought I'd go ahead and do that. Then we're going to be using the Old Olive. I guess that's not first. Here we go. Old Olive. And I'm going to use the Real Red. I don't remember if that was in here, but I like to have some red in there because I look at our trees here as they're changing, and some of them turn a really bright red. Do you have that too where you are? And then I've got the Early Espresso. We'll be using that for the trunk. All right, so here we go. You want to start with your lighter colors. So we're going to start with our Darling Duckling. And I'm just going to be tapping around in different areas. All right, so you just want to make sure, and you kind of keep track of where you've tapped so that you don't necessarily tap with the other colors. But if you do, it's okay. But you want to make sure that the whole tree gets color. All right. Whew. All right, then we're going to go with our Timid Tiger. I'm going to go up here on the edges a little bit. I'm going to go in the center. All right, you can go all over. You can go anywhere you want. This is the Cajun Craze. We're going to take that one down here on the bottom, maybe a little bit up here. All right, and you're thinking, whoa, June, it's going to dry out. We're going to have to huff on it. All right, so that means we're going to have to put some of our moisture from our mouth in there. You don't want to spit, obviously, but you do want to huff on it. All right. Now comes the trick of just making sure that I've got color on everything. And we'll see, we're going to practice first on some scratch paper just to make sure we've got everything covered. Try not to be too systematic about it because I want to make sure that it looks pretty natural, and sometimes one side of the tree changes and the other side of the tree doesn't. So in that case, we could do that. We've got some trees that are still pretty green. And then we have some that are trying to, wherever I see some branches. All right. So let's get that scratch paper just to see, did we get the whole tree covered? So then what we want to do is huff on it. And that puts some moisture back in. Let's see how I did. All right. Ooh, pretty good. Pretty good. Looks like I pretty much got, if we look at it this way, looks like I pretty much got it. Forgot some right there of the branches. All right, so let's go ahead. We're going to turn this over. We're going to do it again. This time I'm going to start with the Early Espresso. That way I know where my branches are. And that way I can have them kind of showing, and I know not to do that part with the other color. So there I've got some branches going. Then we're going to go back to our Darling Duckling. And I don't remember exactly where it is, and that's okay. I think I had a lot of it here in the middle. All right, and then we'll go to our Timid Tiger, which I'm pretty sure I did like around the top edges. And then we'll go to our Cajun Craze. Here we go. Did I even use the green? Now I can't remember. Did I use Old Olive? I'm not even sure anymore. Oh, I guess I could look. Yes, I did, but it looks like I did it where I had the yellow, so I'll be a little more careful this time in where I do the green, because there's still some green. There's still some green on our trees out there. All right, so I just want to look and make sure everything looks like it's got some color on it. All right. So now we're going to bring in our card front. Here we go, and we're going to put that right there. All right, so because it is a big stamp, and I want to make sure to get all the color, I'm just kind of rubbing on it. This is where the Stamparatus would be wonderful, which I do have, but not all of you do. So I want to show you how you can do it without the Stamparatus. There we go. And then I think I'm going to go ahead and bring in some of these. All right, bring in that one. Bring in some of the grass. And I think that will be it. Oh, that looks like it can fill in some of our color. All right, so here we go. Let's go ahead and grab the grass. We're going to go ahead and do the Old Olive. So, because it's not a super green. And we're just going to give it the ground. All right. And then I'm going to wash it off. There we go. Nope, I was not prepared. All right, we're going to wash this off, and I'm going to dab in some of the Darling Duckling. Because I don't know about your grass, but this time of year, my grass starts looking a little bit yellow. All right. So we'll dab that in. And then we have some colors here. So we have our rock. So then we will do, I'm not going to use I use just a little bit of the, let's see, using a little bit of the Early Espresso because I don't have any gray over here. And then all right, then we're going to use a little bit of the Darling Duckling over here on this side. And we're going to use the Early Espresso over here on this side. All right, so here we go. That's going to go right here. All right, and we'll add in a little more grass over there. And in our early old olive as well. All right, so there we have that. Now this looks like it's going to fill in the trees. Let's see if that is correct. So if I wanted to do that, yep, it's going to fill it in. So we're going to fill in a little bit of the tree right there, and then we're going to clean it. And we're going to use some Darling Duckling, and we're just filling in our foliage with this stamp. All right, and I'm just going through again and using all the different colors to just add a little bit more of the foliage. All right, there we go, and it just kind of fills the tree in. All right, so there we have that. Let me close these all up before I land my fingers in them, because you know that I've done that before. Here we go. Take these off. All right, so I like how because the Darling Duckling is kind of a yellowish green, I kind of like that with this. That worked out really well. All right, so then we're going to fold that over and burnish it. So you could emboss it. We could have cut this out and put it on there with dimensionals. I kept it simple this morning with that look. I love that tree. That is so gorgeous. But I'm thinking we need a deer. We need a buck standing under that tree. What do you think? Should we put a buck under the tree? I think so. I think we need a buck. Ooh, that's too small. Oh, you know what? Let's grab our new glued. And then we'll grab that. We're going to grab pecan pie. No, I think they're more, looking at the little buck we have running around here, I think they're more of a crumb cake. So we're going to grab crumb cake. But then I'm going to give him some Early Espresso antlers. All right, so we'll give him some Early Espresso antlers so they're a little darker. All right, here we go. Whew. There he is. All right, I like that. Oh my gosh, he looks awesome. Now we could color him, but I'm not going to color him because it'll go through. We could use the, let's see, do we have some crumb cake in our pencils? Nope, we have some pecan pie in our pencils. Let's see. I just feel like he needs to be a little bit darker. So is this our pecan pie? It is. Let's close this. All right. So just kind of filling him in a little bit. And we have some Early Espresso. Early Espresso. Give him a little more of the brownish tone. The pumpkin pie was actually, or the pecan pie was actually a little bit too reddish. So we're going to go over him with the Early Espresso. Here we go. And of course, if we're going to use the pencils, we really should use our blender pen, right? There we go. See, now if he was in my yard, he would have a big white tail that fluffs up and stands straight up when he runs. Hi, Missy. Late to the party. Tree looks pretty. Thanks. Did you dauber? Yes, we did dauber the tree. And we used the colors in the kit. So I used Darling Duckling, Timid Tiger. Let me make sure to clean this off before I put it away. Darling Duckling, Timid Tiger, Cajun Craze, Real Red, and Early Espresso, and Old Olive. So yeah, the tree came out really, really pretty. And then we're going to use dimensionals on the back of our Thankful. And, whoop, guess I didn't grab that one. And pop that up. And I'm going to get some linen thread. Because, well, because why not? we love our linen thread. We love our linen thread. What can I say? And it works perfectly with this. All right, so I'm just going to wrap it around my fingers a few times. Like that. And we will use a little bit of our Stampin' Plus. All right, come on. You just worked hard for me on those blocks. Don't fail me now. There we go. So I'm going to use that to hold this. Let's try it again. All right, come on. Cooperate. Cooperate. All right. Looks like it's going all over the place, because that's kind of what it does when you do that. So I'm going to add some more dimensionals in there because it glued down. The linen thread glued down to my dimensionals, which is okay, totally fine. You just need to add a few more to make sure that you can get it to stick. All right. That seems a little high. How are we going to do this? All right, cooperate with me here, string. All right, there we go. Let's, all right, we're going to try this one more time. All right. And we're going to stick it on here. Ooh, maybe I need to do 2 fingers. Maybe we got to do 2 fingers. Because that just looks too big. There we go. Cooperate. Cooperate with me. we go. Let's get one of those in there. One of those in there. There we go. Messy as ever, but that's kind of how that works usually. There we go. So thankful. I don't know how people get it perfect. Mine never come out perfect. So, you mousse it. Did you glue blocks together? Yes, I did glue 2 blocks together. I did. And they're apparently they're upside down too, because they say Stampin' Up, but they don't say Stampin' Up in the same direction. Hey, I got the Stampin' Up sides together. I just didn't get the direction together. All right, so here we go. Stick, stick. All right, so we have our wonderfully fun colored tree. And this again is from the Autumn Trees. This is a sweet Autumn Toile, I think, is the sweet. Let me see, do I have my, I should have my catalogs close by. Why don't I have catalogs close by? I can't tell you why I don't have. But they come together in a suite, or you can get them separately as a bundle. This one does have the dies as well. These 2 dies cut out these 2 images. Then you have this leaf thing, and you have some extras. And then this one does cut out the tree. Oh, here we go. It does cut out the tree, and you can also texturize the tree. Maybe we'll play with that next week. And then you have all the dies for all the rest of the images. Plus, this is an additional leaf image that you can then die cut and put over that to fill in that tree. So super fun. Oh, and then we have the deer. I don't know why that all fell off. All right, so we'll be playing with more of this next week. We'll be making a scrapbook page next week and another card. So stay tuned, come on back, and we'll have some fun. Enjoy the rest of your Monday. Remember that today, tomorrow, and Wednesday are the kit sale, up to 30% off on kits. So if you love our kits, not the paper pumpkin, but all the other kit collection kits, the ones that come like this, all right, these are on sale up to 30% off. Don't wait. There are a few that were on the last chance list. I haven't looked yet to see if they've knocked those prices down even further or not. So go take a peek, check it out. I will see you back here for sure tomorrow at, I think it's 1:30. Yeah, tomorrow at 1:30, Tuesday at 1:30 for Kit Together Live. And what we're going to do is we're going to go through all the kits that are still available tomorrow so that you know which ones you need to get into your stash. All right. Thank you cards, birthday cards. It just makes it go so fast and so easy. If you want some decorations, we have the haunted house kit. We have the harvest home kit, the garland kit. So there's decoration kits as well as party kits. There's the bags, and then all the cards, all occasion cards, everything you can imagine. So if you love kits, now's the time to shop for kits before they're gone, and it's going to be a while supplies last. It's just these 3 days. All right, so have an awesome Monday, and I will see you all tomorrow. Bye bye.